and girls, it's Mrs. Smiley. I hope you're having a great day today. Have you ever read the story Cinderella? And Cinderella is about a princess. It's a princess story. Maybe you've even seen the movie. Well, I've got a book I want to read with you today, and this book is called Decibella, and it's about a little girl, and you can make a prediction just by looking at the cover of this book. This is her mouth and her teeth, and those are her eyes and all of her hair. And it says, Decibella and her 6-inch voice. She has a pretty powerful voice. So this is written by Julia Cook, and the illustrations are by Anita Dufala. And we have read books by Julia Cook before, and we had a lot of fun with them. So I thought you would like this too. Remember, we read Ricky Sticky Fingers. That was one, and we read a few others too. So Decibella, written by Julia Cook. My name is Isabella, but sometimes people call me Decibella. I have no idea why. I like the name Isabella much better. I'll give you a little hint. A decibel, you get the word Decibella. A decibel is how loud something is. So that's just a little hint. I'm done with my test. Shh, Decibella. Shh. Do you have any books about squirrels and monkeys? Shh, Decibella. Shh. Look where they're at. So you're supposed to be quiet when you take a test, aren't you, at school? And she's in the library. Are you supposed to be noisy and yelling in the library? No. Okay, here she is at home. Mom, I'm home. Shh, Decibella. Shh. Hi, Grandma. Look, Grandma, she's talking to Grandma on the phone. If somebody yells in the phone when you're talking to them, it hurts your ears, doesn't it? Oh boy, look at Grandma. It looks like she's holding the phone way out here because it's hurting her ears so much. Okay, here they are at a restaurant. There's the waitress. I'll have the smiley face pancakes. Shh. She's pretty loud, huh? The guy at the other table was holding his ears. Okay, now here they are at the movies. Now, have you ever been to the movie theater? You're not supposed to talk during the movie, right? And it says, psst, pass the popcorn. Shh. And then back here, somebody is saying, isn't that one of your students? So the teacher's probably back here. There she is. Or maybe it was a program at school when everybody sits together like in the cafeteria and we have special speakers come in. Today, my teacher asked me to stay in for recess so we could have a little chat. Isabella, I am proud of you for doing so well on your social studies test, and your book report on squirrel monkeys was one of the very best. But today, we need to talk about how to make a better choice. Sometimes you talk way too loud, and you need to use a lower voice. It's important that you speak loud enough for those who need to hear, but you don't want to speak so loud that people cover their ears. It kind of bugs others when your voice is way too loud. They even made the words big. Sometimes you need to talk softer. See how she used little words? Talk softer. And I can show you how. Most of the time when we are working in the classroom, you need to use your 6-inch voice. Now, boys and girls, 6 inches is about that far. You need to use your 6-inch voice. What's that? Well, your 6-inch voice is halfway between your whisper voice and your table talk voice. My what? Isabella, you have 5 voice volumes, and you get to decide which one works the best for you and others when you're trying to get things done. There's a whisper, there's a 6-inch voice, there's a table talk voice, a strong speaker voice, and an outside voice. Let's use the word slurp-a-doodle and give each of them a try. Slurp-a-what? Slurp-a-doodle. So here she's telling her they're going to try this with the word slurp-a-doodle. See if you can say slurp-a-doodle. Slurp-a-doodle. It's kind of fun to say. Table talk. Let's start in the middle. Say slurp-a-doodle in your table talk voice. That's the voice I'm using right now. It's your regular talking voice. Slurp-a-doodle. See if you can say it, boys and girls. Slurp-a-doodle in your table talk voice. This is the voice you will use the most. It is how people talk on TV. It's not too loud and it's not too soft. It's as regular as can be. Use your table talk voice when you're hanging out with friends at the mall or talking on the phone or talking at the dinner table. So those are all times for that voice. Now shout, slurp-a-doodle. So boys and girls, see if you can shout slurp-a-doodle. Now shout slurp-a-doodle as loud as you can. This is what we call your outside voice. That's what it sounds like. You can hear it from far away. You use it to cheer on your team at a game or when you go outside to play. Outside voice. When you bring your outside voice inside, it gets you into trouble. Unless, of course, you have an emergency and you need to call for help. Like last week when you accidentally got your hair caught in the door. Oh, help! Now find the voice that's halfway between your outside voice and use it to say slurp-a-doodle. So we're going to go halfway between the outside voice and your table talk voice. So a little bit louder than that. Now say slurp-a-doodle. Slurp-a-doodle. That's your strong speaker voice. Your strong speaker voice is the voice that you use when you need to talk to a big group of people. You need to breathe in deep, stand up tall, and speak strong, and try not to stop. Use your strong speaker voice when you need to be a speaker, like when you're giving a report in class or maybe acting in a play. Now, let's go back to the middle again. Say slurp-a-doodle in your table talk voice. So boys and girls say slurp-a-doodle. Perfect. Now whisper slurp-a-doodle. Slurp-a-doodle. Okay, now you try. Isabella, this is your whisper voice. It's what a whisper voice sounds like. It's the softest voice that you can make. You have to be right next to somebody to hear it for the person you're talking to, or they can't hear what you say. Use your whisper voice when you're trying to be quiet in the library or when you need to ask me a question during a test or when you're in a movie theater and you need to talk but you don't want to bother other people around you who are trying to watch the show. Next is your 6-inch voice. Now find your voice that's halfway between your table talk voice and your whisper voice. And say, slurp-a-doodle. This is your 6-inch voice. That means if a person is more than 6 inches away from you, they probably can't hear it. A 6-inch voice is about the distance from your pinky and your thumb. So they should be pretty close to you to hear what you're saying. So place your thumb on your chin and put your pinky out like this. Can you hear me now? Okay. Most of the time when you're working in class, I need you to use a 6-inch voice. When everybody uses their 6-inch voice in the classroom starts to buzz. Nobody makes too much noise, and we get our work done. We can talk and work and still stay on track, and our voices don't bug each other. A buzzing classroom sings, guess what? We're working together. Isabella, you're in charge of how loud you are, and you get to control your own voice. And now that you are a good voice volume expert, I know that you can make the right decision. So you could use a whisper voice, a 6-inch voice, a table talk voice, a loud, strong speaker voice, or an outside voice. I don't want to yell real loud, but you know what it sounds like to run and scream and play. I'm done with my assignment. Thank you, Isabella, for using a 6-inch voice while we were working in the classroom. Do you have any books on 3-toed sloths? Thank you, Isabella, for using your whisper voice in the library. My report today is about the planet Mars. Isabella, I love the way you're using your strong speaker voice when you gave that oral report. Hi, Grandma. Isabella, it's so great to hear your voice on the phone. She didn't scream in her ear and hurt her ear this time, did she? It says, ready or not, here I come. And so she's playing outside. I love it when we can be as loud as we want. Ta-da! It says voice volume expert. Now that I'm a voice expert, I think about what voice to use. My 6-inch voice works the best in class, but when I'm outside, I get to choose. I never bring my outside voice inside because it's way too loud, unless I'm at a basketball game and I'm cheering in the crowd. Now, other kids don't call me Decibella because I know what voice to use. There's a whisper, there's a 6-inch voice, there's a regular voice, there's my strong speaker voice, and then there's your outside voice. I get to choose. And she just got home from school. Mom! She's using her big voice, isn't she? Because what happened? She got her hair stuck in the door again. Of course, I could use my outside voice inside if there's an emergency. Last week when I caught my hair in the door, now that was a true emergency. And that's the end of our story, Decibella. And this is a really great story for us to read this year because in kindergarten, we are just learning how to be in Zoom class. And in Zoom class, it's harder than really just being at school because we're not all in the room together and we have to take turns talking. And sometimes friends in our class get super excited and they want to yell into the computer and we all go like this. Oh, it hurts our ears really bad. Remember in the story when they called Grandma on the phone and Grandma, look at Grandma's face. She was holding the phone out here and she was like, oh, it was too loud. Well, we have some friends in our class who are a little bit like Decibella. They're yelling really loud or yelling to a friend, their sister, or yelling to somebody who's with them. And it hurts our ears, doesn't it? It might not hurt their ears because they're the ones doing it and they have headphones on, but it hurts our ears. So we need to make sure that when we're on the computer, we're using a nice voice. We've got our headphones on. We're right in front of the computer, and that's where you should be. So we can all hear you if you just use your regular talking voice. Sometimes some of you like to use a whisper voice. And I do this, and I'll say, come closer, because I want to hear you better. I want to hear what you're saying. So we have some people who are kind of like Decibella. They're using an outside voice, and they shouldn't be, should they? And we have some people who are using a really soft voice, and we need to turn them up a little bit. You don't even need to use a 6-inch voice, just a regular talking voice to your computer, and we can hear you really well at Zoom meetings. So I thought this was a great story to share. Think about your voice when you share in Zoom and think, am I being a Decibella? Am I being a good listener? Am I using the right kind of voice? And if you're ever not sure, you can just ask and we'll tell you. Say, was I too loud? And we'll give you a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Okay? All right. Thank you for being such great listeners, boys and girls. Have a great day. Keep up the great work.